Fractal is back with a brand new case. It's called the Fractal North XL. That's right, ladies and gents, Fractal has been listening. They made an XL version of this super duper popular Fractal North from 2022, but here in 2024, it's bigger. And is it better? Let's find out.
This video is brought to you by VIPSCDkey.com. Have you ever installed Windows 11 only to see the watermark of death? You don't need to fork out a couple of $100s for a key. You can grab one from today's video sponsor, from VIPSCDkey.com for 1/10 of the price. You can use our code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. How good is that? That takes that already cheap Windows 11 key and makes it even cheaper. It's easy as placing your order. Bingo bango! You've got your new key on your orders page. You chuck that key into the activation screen and you're good to go. No more watermark of death. Use code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. Link in the description. On with the video. Back to you, Nick.
Let's start off with panel removal. There's 2 thumb screws on the back edge of the case. They're both captive thumb screws. There's one at the top and one at the bottom. And what you want to do is pull it back and away from the case. Same deal with the rear panel. There's a captive thumb screw at the top and one at the bottom. Then you want to pull that and slide it back and lift it away from the case. To remove the top panel, there's a little leather pull tab. I don't know if this is real leather, probably not, who knows. Anyway, you pull that tab towards you and then you lift it away from the case. To remove that beautiful wooden front panel, grab the bottom edge and just give it a little bit of a yank. And that's it. Next is the side bracket. There's 2 thumb screws. Loosen those thumb screws and then you'll want to kind of pull it back and out at the same time. The last panel to remove is this side panel. There's a single captive thumb screw. Loosen that thumb screw, then slide the panel back, and then you can lift that away from the case. The front panel has a removable dust filter. You can unclip it on the edges and it will just pop out and you can clean it quite easily. There's also a dust filter on the bottom of the case that can be slid out and then popped back in for easy cleaning. If you're looking at installing either 3.5-inch spinning rush drives or 2.5-inch SSDs, there's some mounting here. So on the back of the motherboard tray, there's mounting for 2 drives and it's got a thumb screw in here. That's also captive and you can remove this bracket and mount your drives to this. In the basement, there's 2 combined 3.5-inch and 2.5-inch drive mounting sleds as well. As far as power supply support, you can go up to 175 mils if you're using both of the drive trays. For a single drive tray, it's 290 mil. Much like the original Fractal North, the power supply can also be backloaded with this removable rear power supply bracket. I prefer this, if I'm being honest, because it just makes it a lot easier to just shove her in the back. There's 3 pre-installed 140mm PWM fans, and all of these fans are connected up to this 4-way PWM fan hub. What's interesting about these fans is all of them can be daisy chained as well, and the fan hub doesn't require any external power from SATA or anything like that. It's just a straight up PWM cable into your motherboard. Up top, we can do 3 120mm fans, 2 140mm fans, or 2 180mm fans. As well as that, radiator support up to 360mm. Up front, as you can see, there's 3 of these pre-installed fans already, which means you can do up to a 420mm radiator up the front, or 3 140mm fans, 3 120mm fans, and on the rear, either a 120 or 140mm fan. Side bracket fan support for the mesh version of the case, you can do either 2 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans. Here's the other thing with this bracket. The side bracket can be installed in 2 locations. You can have the lower position or the upper position. And this is mainly to help with either providing additional cooling to your CPU air cooler or additional cooling to your GPU. Motherboard support is ITX up to eATX, which is different from the Fractal North. One thing that confuses me a little, they say eATX, but we've got standoff peg holes here for bigger boards like EEB boards and CEB boards. So maybe those work too, and the way you'd probably do that is by removing these grommets here and then putting the standoffs in these holes here. Also, there's no back connector support for the Fractal North XL. For maximum CPU air cooler height support, up to 185 mils. However, if you use this side bracket, you're reducing that by 30 mil down to 155 millimeters. For the GPU, there's a maximum supported length of up to 413 millimeters if you're not using a front-mounted radiator. Otherwise, that will reduce that to 380 mil. You can also vertically mount your GPUs in this case because there's no support brackets here, and any vertical GPU bracket should work. Front panel connector-wise, you've got your USB Type-A connector, your USB Type-C connector, the front panel audio, and some cables for your power button and your power light. For top panel I/O, we've got a power button, a headphone jack, a microphone jack, 2 USB Type-A ports and a USB Type-C port, and then there's a little integrated power light on top of the case as well. I thought it might be interesting to do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison between the regular Fractal North and the Fractal North XL, just so you guys can get a bit of an idea of the scale between the size differences. If we take a look at that front panel, you can see that the Fractal North XL is considerably bigger. However, the overall footprint isn't too much bigger. You'll also notice that the Fractal North XL is a bit wider, and none of the parts are really interchangeable between the cases. They kind of just follow the same styling. From this perspective, you can see what's changed here, and it should change. It's an XL case. They're technically based on different chassis. They both have similar styling. That's about it. First of all, one thing you will notice is the feet between the North and the North XL are much bigger on the XL, and so they should be. The next thing is that motherboard tray. Completely different design. There's no angle on the XL to divide the motherboard and the front of the case, which means it just makes it easy to install bigger boards. You can also see there's additional grommets for cable pass-through. There is one thing that they kind of address, but they don't really need to because it's an XL case, but the cable pass-throughs for the EPS power connector on the North, a lot of people had trouble with that, but I never really had problems with that. But as you can see, the top of the motherboard here for the XL has just big rubber grommets, so that's not going to be an issue whatsoever. But overall, like if we're comparing them, they're completely different cases with the same styling. A lot of people have been requesting an XL version of the North, and we finally have one. That's everything I think you need to know about the Fractal North XL for now. Let's do our usual thing. Let's do a build, test the thermals, and then I'll let you know if it's worth your hard-earned money. So make sure you stick around. All right, let's take a look at the thermals. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the thermals of the Fractal North XL mesh is rather good. Not too bad at all. Please keep in mind that the CPU here is a 7950X, so it gets very, very hot. Quite surprised with the 7900 GRE's thermals being as good as they are, considering this is the first time I've used one, because this card arrived about 3 weeks late because, yeah, FedEx decided to lose it. But anyway, the thermals are more than adequate. And if you're interested in any of the rest of the hardware in this build, I'll put a PCPartPicker list down below so you can see what all of that is. But let's talk about the Fractal North XL because it is extra large. The build quality here is exactly the same as the original Fractal North, so you're not going to be disappointed if you decide to go from the normal North up to the XL. It feels mostly the same. One of the biggest changes that we saw from earlier in the video was that motherboard tray. And by that, I mean, obviously you can do much bigger motherboards. For cable management, it is pretty good here. It is better than the original North. And the fact that it's designed to be bigger for bigger motherboards and just bigger hardware in general, you'll find that routing cables, especially for the EPS power cable that a lot of people complained about, is a lot easier here. So overall, I think the Fractal North XL is a very nice case. And you know how I feel about the North. It is easily the best looking case on the market other than the King 95. Those two are the best, right? The Fractal North and the King 95 from Montech are the best looking cases, hands down. Nothing even comes close. And now they've got an XL option. It makes it more accessible for people who use bigger hardware and for workstations, because the Fractal North is good, don't get me wrong, but it can be a little bit small, especially for 40 series cards. I've got a 4090 Tough Gaming in mind and it just fits. Like, any bigger and that huge GPU just wouldn't go in there. So I'm glad that they decided to make an XL version. But what's the deal with the price? Is it an XL price? The regular Fractal North, they're starting at around 139 US dollars, but the Fractal North XL is going for around $169. So there's about a 30 US dollar price bump, and it makes sense. It is a bigger case. There is technically more wood because the wood front panel is larger. There is more material. So $30, I think it's fine for a case like this. I think Fractal's done an excellent job. Again, I'm gonna say it, this is gonna be one of the best that we see this year. And I know XL cases aren't for everyone, but for people, like I said, who've got the bigger gear, you got the Fractal North XL here. Full of rhymes today, it's really good. But yeah, I like it. I think you guys are really, really gonna like the Fractal North XL as well. And if you like the music you heard here, that's me, ladies and gents. I make all the music. If you wanna listen to it, head on over to the join button down there, down below, and click it, and away we go. I'll put some Fractal North videos that we did previously in the description as well, so you can check that out at your own leisure. But yeah, like I said, you guys are gonna like this case. I really, really like it, and it's some really good, I wouldn't call them changes because it's technically a different case, but it's good to see that they addressed some concerns people had by just making a bigger case. And that's it. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peak. We definitely had a bit of a seek today. What a great case. I loved it. It was really good to build in. I've got nothing bad to say about it. It was really good. Thanks for watching. And watch a video up here. That's an AI generated cat, by the way.